LEYSHINE soldiers, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, we will be learning how to draft the front part of the bodice block. In our last tutorial, we learned how to draft the back pattern, and I hope you've practiced and ready to learn the front with me now. So let's get started. The bust line, waistline, and hip line having already taken across to the front. Remember, when we were extending the line from the back, the bust line was extended to the CF, the waistline to the CF, and the hip line to the CF. So I need to label bust line, waistline, hip line. Okay? It now only remains to add the chest line, the front shoulder line, and the line for the base of the neckline. So this means that the remaining lines I need to add in front is the chest line, the shoulder line, and the line for the base of the neck. The CF line goes up to the top line or to the top edge of the paper. If this line is not used, point O is marked right at the top of the CF and so comes 3 cm higher than point O of the CB, in brackets higher in large sizes. What this is simply telling you is point O of the front is marked right at the top edge of the paper. If I have to interpret this, I will say point O of the front is 3.5 cm higher than point O of the back for bust 101. In bust 92, their point OCB is 3. That's why they are saying 3 cm higher. I hope we understand that. Measuring from O down the CF line, all my measurements now will be taken from point O. 4.5 cm for shoulder line, 4 cm for large sizes. I am a large size, but 100 is a large size, that's a size 14. So I will use 4 cm for my shoulder line. 4 cm. Smaller sizes we use 4.5. Large sizes we use 4 cm. I'm also going to roll short lines across. 7.5 cm for base of neckline, 8 to 8.5 in large sizes. If I was drafting for a small size, I'll use 7.5 cm. I am a large size, that's the size 14, so I will use either 8 or 8.5 from point O, 8 cm. Okay, so this is my shoulder line. This is my base of neckline. From the bust line, measure up 4 cm for the chest line. From the bust line, measure up 4 cm. Simply means take a measurement of 4 cm up from the bust line for the chest line. Four centimeter up, 4 cm up, and roll your short line across. From all these points, square construction lines to the CF. Instead of marking, I already ruled my lines, so I already squared my construction line. Extending them halfway across. Halfway across. Except for the neckline, which is only 10 to 12 cm long. So this time around, our point O is our neckline, which is also our top line. So what I need to write here is my neckline. So the length of the lines, extend more. When you have to lengthen the line, you would know. From point O, measure the neck width equal to the back neck width. This measurement, however, should never be less than 6.5 in the front, even in small sizes. Mark NP. Now, my back neck width is 7.5 centimeter, and that's what I use for the back. And now the instruction says measure the neck width equal to the back. So it means I still need to repeat this 7.5 centimeter on point O. So here, from the neckline, from point O along the neckline, mark 7.5 centimeter. 7.5 centimeter, and that is my NP. Sorry, this is getting in the way. I hope you can see it clearly. From NP, draw the neckline onto the line 7.5 centimeter. Now remember, our own 7.5 is replaced with 8 centimeter because I use 8 centimeter for my base of neckline. So from NP, draw the neckline onto the line 7.5 centimeter below with the help of a short vertical construction line from the NP. The curve should pass through a 0.3 centimeter from the angle formed by the crossing of these two lines. 3.5 centimeter in large sizes. Yes, it's getting too much. I will break that down. Now, what they are saying here is, from the NP, rule a line to join your base of neckline. From the NP, rule a line to join your base of neckline. Now, to have a perfect straight line, what will I do? I'll measure the same 7.5 centimeter I have up. I'll measure it here. Then connect with my ruler. Now, this has given me an angle. Let me draw this line again. So it's very. So here I have an angle. It says I should take a curve. The curve of, there's going to be a curve here. The curve should pass through a 3 centimeter from the angle formed. That's this parallel line, join my base of neckline at this point. So here, I'm going to bisect by 3.5 centimeter. Remember I said I am a size 14, which is a large size. I will use 3.5 centimeter. My line here will be 3.5 centimeter. I hope we understand that. Just follow exactly what I have done and you will not miss it. So I'm going to draw my curve now, connecting my NP to the base of neckline using this line as a guide. I'm going to connect my NP to my CF using this line as a guide. So I'll draw. That is the curve. On the shoulder line, measure from the CF 16.5 centimeter for all sizes. That means on the shoulder line, this is my shoulder line. I'll measure 16.5 centimeter for all sizes. It is there. All sizes, you use 16.5 centimeter. And through this point, what point are we talking about now? That's point 16.5 centimeter. That's the point they are talking about. Rule from NP, a provisional shoulder seam, leaving it unfinished 20 to 22 centimeter long. Place your ruler on NP, passing through 16.5 centimeter, and rule your unfinished line. It could be 20, it could be 21, it could be 22. When you need to extend or shorten this line, you will know as you are drafting the pattern. I hope this is explanatory. Can I take that again? On the shoulder line, I measure 16.5 centimeter, constant for all sizes. Now, my ruler was placed on NP. Passing through this 16.5, I ruled a line, an unfinished line. Mine is 22 centimeter. I said you can stop at 20, you can stop at 21, you can stop at 22. When you need to extend or shorten, you will know as we draft the pattern. Another method to find the slope of the shoulder is that used in the draft of the simplified bodice block. We are going to do the simplified bodice block, but for now, let's concentrate on this. This is my chest line. How did I get this? I came up by 4 centimeters. From the bust line, I measured up 4 centimeters to get the chest line. On the bust line, measure 1/4 chest measurement from the CF. The bust line, I'm to measure my chest width divided by 4. My chest width is 39. 39 divided by 4 is 9.75. So on my bust line, I measure 9.75, which is 1/4 chest width. Through the last point, what last point are we talking about? Here, this 9.75, 39 divided by 4, that's my chest width divided by 4. Through the last point, and from 2 centimeters below it, meaning I need to come down by 2 centimeters. I need to rule a straight line down 2 centimeters. Okay? Rule a vertical construction line parallel to the CF. A vertical construction line parallel to the CF. Place your ruler on this line. Just place your ruler on this line, this way. Let it align with the line. See. Place your ruler on the line and draw your parallel line. Remember, I told you a parallel line is a straight line. Parallel to the CF. This is one line, this is another line, the CF line. So these are parallel lines. Parallel to the CF. That way. And from here, and from here, measure 2 centimeters to the left. That's from here, measure 2 centimeters to the left. This is my right, this is my left. So from this last point, I measure 2 centimeters to the left. I'm coming to the left by 2 centimeters. From this last point, that's this last point now, rule the inner line of the shoulder dart down to 2 centimeters below the bust line. From this point, connect to this point. You know, you came down here by 2 centimeters. So from this point, connect to this 2 centimeters below the bust line. Okay. Measure and mark the size of the dart along the shoulder and complete the dart by ruling the outer line to join the inner line. So this line will be labeled inner line. From the inner line, I need to measure the size of my dart. For a bust 92, it is 7.5. For a hot bust 101, I'll go over to my table and check what my dart is. My dart is 8.5 centimeters. My dart is 8.5 centimeters. From the inner line, I will mark the size of my dart, which is 8.5 centimeters along this shoulder slope. Just watch what I'm going to do here. From here, from the inner line, 8.5 centimeters. Your shoulder dart is not constant. It depends on your bust measurement. Just go over to the table and see what your dart measurement is. So this is 8.5 centimeter here. That's from the inner line to this point. And complete the dart by rolling the outer line to join the inner line 2 centimeters below the bust line. So I need to connect this point to this point. That's from my 8.5 centimeter to 2 centimeters below my bust line. So this is my outer line. And from my outer line to my inner line is my dart. The shoulder dart for bust 92 is graded 0.5 centimeter up and down for every size, bigger and smaller. That means go to the table, I've explained what that is. Now complete the shoulder seam. Remember, our line, this 22 centimeter was an unfinished line. It says rule your line 20 to 22 centimeter, but I chose 22 centimeter. Now the instruction here is now complete the shoulder seam. So this line needs to be completed now. Now complete the shoulder seam by measuring from the NP the shoulder length of 12.5. I will replace that 12.5 with 14, which is my own measurement. My measurement is 14. So plus the dart depth of 8.5. My dart is 8.5 centimeter. Mark the front SP. What that is simply saying is your shoulder measurement plus your dart measurement will give you your front SP. My dart measurement is 8.5. My shoulder measurement is 14. 14 plus 8.5, measuring from NP, will give me my front SP. 14 centimeter plus 8.5 centimeter will give me 22.5 centimeter. From my NP, measure from NP 22.5 centimeter. So you see, I need to extend my line here. I'll mark 22.5 centimeter, and this is my SP. To get my front SP, front SP is your shoulder plus dart. That is how I got 22.5 centimeter for my SP. I hope we understand that. On the chest line, from the CF, measure half chest width, missing out the dart. Now, let's look closely. On the chest line, this is my chest line. Inner line cut across the chest line on this point, outer line cut across the chest line on this point. So from this point to this point is a dart. Now, the instruction says measure half chest measurement. That's my chest width divided by 2, missing out the dart. So I'll measure from the CF to the inner line, omit the measurement of this point, continue from my outer line till I get my half chest width. Now, my chest width is 39. 39 divided by 2 is 19.5. Okay, measure from the CF to the inner line. And continue from the outer line till I get my 19.5. This is my 19.5 centimeter CHP. Just watch what I did here. If you have to zoom, please zoom it so that you will see what I did on that part. The length CF to CHP is 19 centimeter plus whatever the dart measures at that level. In this example given, that is for their own example. Another method is, instead of missing out this dart, you can measure whatever this dart is and add it to your half chest width and measure straight from the CF. So you can use either method. It's either you measure from the CF to your inner line, continue your measurement from your outer line till you get your half chest width, or you measure whatever your dart is here. Take for instance 2.5, add it to whatever your half chest width is and measure straight from the CF. You have the same thing. Rule a line between SP and CHP and drop a short perpendicular on the bust line as a guide for drawing the armhole. Rule a line between SP and CHP. This is my SP, this is my CHP. Rule a line between SP and CHP. And drop a short perpendicular. A perpendicular line is a line that is following a different direction. You know, if it was a straight line, I will continue like this. But a perpendicular line, we use this angle to draw a straight line. Just follow what I did there. Measure from the CF along the bust line, the bust width of the front, which is the difference between the total bust width of the pattern. For example, half bust plus 5 equals to 51 centimeter. And the width 23.5 centimeter already obtained for the back along the bust line. Measure the front UP at 51 minus 23.5 equals to 27.5 from the CF. Yeah, she's just reading. I'm confused. I understand. Just calm down and listen. What this is simply telling us now is to get our front UP, all we need to do is divide our bust measurement by 2 plus 5. Now subtract what you have on the CB to UP. That's whatever you have on your bust line at the back. Subtract it from it. So in this case, my bust measurement is 101. 101 divided by 2. That's 50.5. 50.5 plus 5. That's 55.5. Now, I will measure what I have on my bust line from the CB to UP. Here I have 26.5. From the CB to UP here, I have 26.5. So that 26.5, I will subtract it. From 55.5, I have 29. So from my CF, on my bust line, I'll measure 29 centimeter. I hope that is explanatory. 29 centimeter, my front UP. Let me take that again. To get my front UP, divide your bust measurement by 2 plus 5. That is half of your bust plus 5. Now, subtract what you have on the bust line at the back. Mark the remaining in front. The reason for this is because my bust is in front, my back is flat. I cannot allocate the same value to the front and back. If not, I will have a little gap around my armhole. The back will take its own, the front will take its own. That is exactly what we have done here. I hope we understand. So let's continue. Draw the armhole, curving it 1 centimeter plus from the straight line SP to CHP, and hollowing it out well in the lower part, reverse of the back armhole. Take the curve through a point 1.5 centimeter from the angle. The armhole dips slightly below the bust line before reaching the UP. So what I need to do here is measure whatever I have from SP to CHP. Measure whatever I have from SP to CHP. This is 14.5 in this example. The middle point will be 7.25. Now, come out or come in. Measure 1 centimeter in. It could be 1 centimeter, it could be 1.1, but start with 1 centimeter first. So this is 1 centimeter. And it says the curve should pass through a point 1.5 centimeter. Remember, we have From this, we can see that there's an angle here. We have a 90-degree angle here. So I need to bisect by 1.5 centimeter. .5 centimeter. So this will be used to draw my armhole. The first thing I need to do is connect SP to CHP using this 1 centimeter as a guide. Connect SP to CHP through this 1 centimeter. You see that? The next thing to do is connect from that point, from your last point, which is here, to the point 1.5. Then cut deep slightly below the bust line before reaching the UP. This is my armhole. The cut deep slightly below the bust line before reaching the UP. So this is my front armhole. Okay, let's continue. On the hip line, mark HP at 1/4 hip measurement plus 3 centimeter. In some cases, it might be slightly more. Note, in figure 3, HP touch, but it is not essential. As our hip cannot touch. Why? Because we added 4 centimeter for margin at the beginning. So on the hip line now, what we will do here is repeat the same thing we did at the back. 1/4 hip plus 1.5 centimeter. On the hip line at the back, we measured 1/4 hip plus 1.5 centimeter. In front, we will do the same thing. So on the hip line, I'll measure 1/4 hip plus 1.5 centimeter. That's 27.75. This is my HP. 27.75, 1/4 hip plus 1.5 centimeter. Okay? Rule the straight underhand seam between UP and HP and then draw the outer shaped seam through a point 1.5 centimeter in at the waist. So the first thing I need to do is connect my UP to HP, connect UP to HP, and measure 1.5 centimeter in. Remember at the back, we came in by 2 centimeter. In front now, we're to come in for a shaped seam by 1.5 centimeter. We use our French curve again. This way. Flip it this way. Okay. I hope you're liking what you're seeing now. This is so beautiful. Draw the lower waistline, which follows more closely the waistline of the figure. Dipping a little towards the front, mark 0.5 centimeter below waist point on the side seam, both on the back and on the front. Now, this is my waist point. Now, the instruction says I should measure 0.5 centimeter down on both the back and the front. And 1 centimeter plus below the waist of the CF. In large sizes, 1 centimeter below waist point and 2.2 to 2.5 centimeter on the CF. Draw the final waistline through this point, starting from the usual CB length as drafted. It is easier to do this after planning the waist dart, which should come down to this lower level with both sides matching in length. Okay, so what we want to get now is the lower waistline. lower waistline. As time goes on, I will explain what the lower waistline is and where we use it. Most times it's used for very busty people because their under bust is close to their waistline. So to give a little separation, it's better to use the lower waistline for them. But I'm not going to go into details now so that you don't get confused. Let's just draft this pattern, and when we are doing that manipulation or doing style interpretation, we trace whichever one we want to use. So I am drafting for a large size. Remember I said a size 14 is a large size. On the waist point, I'll come down the WP by 1 centimeter, 1 cm, both on the front and back pattern, 1 centimeter. While on the CF, I'll come down by 2 to 2.5. So let me use 2 centimeter. 2 centimeter. Now, watch how I'll connect this. I'll connect from there, from the CF to the side seam. Continue from the side seam back to the CB. Connect this way. So this is what the lower waistline looks like. It's coming back to your length to waist this way. Okay, so let's continue. Draw the true bust line 4 centimeter below the bust line of the draft and parallel to it. My true bust line is 4 centimeter below the bust line. Remember my chest line, I went up by 4 centimeter. To get my true bust line, I'll come down 4 centimeter from the bust line. So this is 4 centimeter below the bust line. To obtain the final shoulder, close and pin out the shoulder dart, bringing the two lines together and leaving the dart underneath folded back towards neckline. Then, rule a straight line from NP to SP and cut on it through the folded dart. When the dart is unpinned again, the shoulder seam will have the shape shown in figure 3 with a point above the middle of the shoulder dart. Okay, so what we want to do now is get our final shoulder. Before I do that, this is what the front of the bodice block looks like. You can see how beautiful it is. I hope I've been able to break down this method and make it easier for you to understand. Please practice, and if you have any question, like I said in the previous video, reach out to me via email and I will respond to you. So to get the final shoulder now, remember my outer line to inner line is my dart. What I need to do is, I need my tracing wheel at this point. What I need to do is make a crease on the inner line. What I'm doing is a crease, pressing it down, just to give a crease. This is a crease. Make a crease on the inner line. Please, not the first line. Remember that first line is not a dart. It is just a guide to get your inner line. Make a crease on your inner line. Bring it to join your outer line this way. Let me do that again. Make a crease on your inner line. Bring it to join the outer line. This is the outer line. Just put it. Don't try to align the point. Just place the inner line on the outer line. And use your ruler to connect the NP to SP. Connect the NP to SP. Just watch what I'm doing. NP to SP. To get that pointy shoulder, I need to trace this line. That's a new line I ruled. You can extend your tracing more. If you check underneath and notice it is extended well behind. So this is what we have at the end of the day. This is my final shoulder. Let me roll it so that you see what we got. I'm going to roll on the trace line just to darken it. This is what the front pattern of the bodice block looks like. This is how it is. You can extend this line, that is your dart line, to this point. So this is what the front pattern looks like. Our next tutorial will be on waist shaping. If you have any question, kindly reach out to me. Kindly subscribe to this channel. Share, comment, like. Thank you.